Good day, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook and YouTube, we thank all of you for your commitment and for your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you, so that you have a place to go and hear from God to receive daily divine direction. And I want to remind all of our listeners and viewers, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live at Daily Divine Direction, and we want you to stay connected with us throughout the week. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, we play music on our internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio. Music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. And you can reach us at WKAPfaith.com. I'm going to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are really in the process of expanding our offerings on our broadcast, both on the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, and we're going to be doing some new things on the internet radio station. And so I'm going to be inviting people, as you send in your communications, I'm going to be inviting people to every first Thursday of the month to join in on the broadcast with our individuals. I'll be inviting to come in and ask your questions to Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, BeccaTheDietitian.com. We're setting up that format structure right now. We have the infrastructure in place, but we have some additional technology things that we need to do, pieces that we need to complete to be able to do that. But I'm looking forward to it. Every time there's growth, there's always some technical issues, but we are thankful for the opportunity to include all of you and engage with you right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So, you know, we've been dealing a lot with relationships. So there's been a lot of conversation about dating. There's been a lot of conversation about men and women and the differences between the thought process of men and women. So we're going to continue to focus on that, but I do want to address another communication from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have a very positive attitude about life. However, you keep meeting men who you said suck the oxygen out of the room and wonder why you will not give them the time of day. So let me say this to you. You want to know, why do men have such a negative attitude? And I'm going to begin by saying this. So remember this. Men have a different experience than women have in life in general. Now, that's not to give men a free pass to not having a positive attitude, because I'm a firm believer, and I don't want to take you into where I'm going to be going in sermons to come, but the reality is that we really need to have a positive attitude every single day about life. And what's interesting is I was speaking to my spiritual son yesterday, and we were talking about the expectation of life. And the problem is that as men, sometimes we go through so many different challenges along the way that it really disturbs our expectation. And when our expectation has been disturbed and disrupted, and we no longer have a positive outlook, naturally, I like the term you use because it's a term that's been around for some time, but yes, they have the tendency to suck the oxygen out of the room. You don't need to give them the time of day. If they can't think positive, if they can't be positive, if they can't live with an expectation, if they have no expectation for themselves, they're not the right man for you because they have no expectation for the relationship. Now, hopefully they'll grow in time. Hopefully they will find themselves in a different state of mind because as a man thinketh, so is he. The reality is you're not in the same place. And the Bible tells us, how can we walk together unless we agree? How can you walk together in agreement? You're not equally yoked. If you have a positive attitude and someone has a negative attitude, those are not going to work together to build the great quality of life that God has purposed for us. So don't take it personal. Just keep it moving. If they wonder why you won't give them the time of day, just explain to them, listen, I need someone, and you don't have to be mean about it. I need someone who's got a positive attitude about life. I need someone who wakes up every day with an expectation about life every single day. When we realize, okay, everyone tune in, act like you never heard this on Sunday. Tune in on Sunday for the Sunday sermon at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware. 19809. Service begins at 10 a.m. If you're in our area, come and worship with us. We want you to come and experience a better quality of life. If you come, and if you're not in our area and you tune in for the Sunday sermon at 10:45 a.m. at New Life Christian Center - Pastor Pope, act like you've never heard this, okay? So here's the reality. If they cannot recognize that God has a plan for their lives, and it's of good and not of evil, that requires us to have an expectation every single day. Knowing that God has a plan for our lives, and knowing that his plan is good, of good and not of evil, knowing that he's not going to withhold any good thing from us, but he will withhold what is not good for us. Knowing that means that every day we have the opportunity to wake up with a new expectation. But that requires a renewing of the mind. The men you're meeting may not be in a place where their mind has been renewed. They may still be stuck in that place where they have a lack of oxygen. So of course, when they enter into a room with you or a meeting place with you, or they encounter you in a venue, they're going to suck the oxygen out of the room because they need oxygen. You have to understand they're just not for you. No matter how much you might like to give them the opportunity, and this will take me into another communication, so I'm gonna really contain this. Just because you will not give them the opportunity doesn't mean, as much as you might like to give them an opportunity, watch this, doesn't mean you should give them an opportunity. You can be kind, you can be courteous, you can just explain to them, we're not in the same place right now. We're not in the same space right now. We're not in the same space in our head. I need to be with someone who has a plan for the future. I need to be with someone who has an expectation for the future. I need to be with someone who's going to be excited about tomorrow. You can tell them that. And hopefully what you will do then is plant a seed. And that is that tomorrow's going to be better than the day before. Tomorrow's going to be better than today. And today is better than the day before. Every day you have to have a higher expectation. You have to truly believe that every day is going to give you the opportunity to maximize what God has planned for you for that day. They're just not in that place. And you're meeting men who are just not in that place. So the Bible says, let a man or a woman, mankind, examine themselves. So you have to examine the environment you're placing yourself in. Why is it that you're encountering men what places are you going that you're encountering men who have no expectation for tomorrow? They're not excited about tomorrow. They're just waiting for tomorrow to come. They can't think beyond where they are right now. And of course, your brain needs oxygen to think. I'm simplifying things. As a man thinketh, so is he. If he can't think it, he can't be it. And so he's lacking oxygen. So of course, when he encounters you in a venue or a space, he's going to suck the oxygen out of the room. You don't have to subject your life to that. Listen, I didn't just say be subjected. I said you don't have to subject your life to that. Your future is brighter than that. Your future is brighter than just existing for tomorrow. Your future is based on thriving tomorrow, maximizing your opportunities and your potential, maximizing the fullness of God. So you have to say to yourself, they're just not for me. And they'll have to understand that. They'll come to terms with that. You will plant a seed if you have that conversation. You don't have to be mean to people to be able to explain to them why they're not right for you. And then, of course, if we get back to the basics of the dating revelation that God has provided and I shared with all of you, that's not a good fit for you. You can explain to them while being courteous that you just would not be good for one another. And that's not a bad thing, because hopefully the information that you share will inspire them to seek the next level in life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are concerned about the behavior of your girlfriends. You say when you go out and men come up to them, all they want to know is what men are going to do for them. And you said it has become guilt by association. Okay, so we're talking about a lot of cliches today, and all of these are relevant. Of course, if you're with a group of women and the conversation is the same about what a man is going to do with them and you're present with that group, there's an old theme, birds of a feather flock together. Yes, guilt by association. Or what we term in the spiritual realm is being with like-minded folks. In other words, if you're around women who are really, it's important that we understand you want someone who has goals. You want someone who has a plan for the future. You all are in a dating environment. But if your girlfriends, and they are, you said this in your communication, if your girlfriends are only interested in what a man's going to do for them, of course men are going to think that you have the same state of mind. you said that's not your state of mind in the communication. You want to meet someone who is nice, who is stable, who is, once again, it's about environment. So your girlfriends are out in the clubs chasing the bag. You know, I'm getting all these modern terms from the students in our Achievers Academy. They keep me up on what's going on in pop culture. So I listen to these things and I realize that this is the new trend. That, you know, the new trend is if a guy wants to date a woman, he's got to spend money on her. He's got to take her shopping. He's got to do all these things to demonstrate to her that he's going to take care of her. That's a problem. And I'm going to tell you the reason it's a problem. Because what does it gain someone, what does it benefit someone to gain the whole world and lose their soul? Because what's really happening is you're selling your soul. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Is you're depending on someone else to provide for you what you have to work to provide for yourself. But together you can work to build a great quality of life. So all you have the man doing, and I don't want anybody to misinterpret this, because I'm all about being a gentleman. I'm all about men being men and being responsible men. So if a man wants to date you, and here we go going into another communication, but if a man wants to date you, he should be willing to take you out on a date and pay for the date. It's that simple. Now for all you guys, I have said, if you're going to ask a woman out, invite her to go to church with you and out to lunch. If you don't have a church home, ask her if you can attend her church with her and then go out to lunch. I didn't say you had to take her out for an expensive dinner. I didn't say that you had to take her out to a 5-star restaurant. I said to church and out to lunch. If she doesn't want to do that, she's not for you. That's for the men. For the women, it's the same thing. If a man is not interested in demonstrating to you what his relationship is with the Lord, so that you know that everything that God has purposed and planned for his life is going to bless your life also, and that you can walk in the favor of God with him, then he's not for you either. But here's the reality. If, you know, this isn't new because there's nothing new under the sun. It's just a different form now. See, once upon a time, when a man started dating a woman, he would take her out. He would, you know, take her out to eat. They would begin to do social things together. He would do some nice things for her, you know, when it was her birthday, when it was Christmas, that kind of thing. And then as they move forward in the relationship, he can do anything for her at any time. But now, the new thing is, and we, you know, once upon a time we called this tricking. But now women are saying, okay, if you want to date me, you have to take me out to a 5-star restaurant and you got to take me shopping. That's what I'm hearing now. And they call that chasing the bag. Trying to fill up the bag. And then, you know, even some of the young ladies have said, in front of the young men, have said, you know, I want somebody who's going to give me money so I can go out with my girlfriends and shop and go out and, you know, hang out. And okay. None of this is new. It's all been done before. But we had gotten past that. We had gotten beyond that. We began to have relationships of substance. And what your girlfriends are doing is not of substance. So what you have to ask yourself, do you really want to hang out with them? You know, you've got to change some things up. You may visit them at their home, at their apartments, from time to time, you might go out one-on-one to lunch with with one of them, or out to brunch. But you got to really ask yourself, are they the ones that you want to hang out with? Because if that's all they're trying to do, first of all, you're in a herd, which means that when the animal comes to hunt, he's looking to take one of you down. And in the end, he may or may not do what they want. If he does what they want, he's going to have expectations. And the truth of the matter is, if you're in that group, in that herd, every man that you all encounter is going to have the same perspective, the same perception of you, because you're part of that herd. So you've got to separate yourself from that herd and do something different. And that means being around some different people. And I know you've gotten comfortable being around your girlfriends, but you know, as you said in your communication, it has become guilt by association. You're with them, they expect you to have the same perspective on life. They expect you to have the same mentality. That's what they expect, because that's what you're with, like-minded people, or at least that's the perception. So you've just got to do some different things. You've got to hang out with some different people. Sometimes you can't keep hanging out with the same turkeys if you want to soar like an eagle. Turkeys don't fly. You can't keep hanging out with the same people if you want to be different, or if you dare to be different. So you're right, guilt by association. Let's take a different approach. Find some different people to do something different with. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by PorscheAmerica.com. If you are in the market for one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You will be able to basically build out the type of vehicle you might like or desire to own. If you are in our area, you can go to PorscheDelaware.com, contact the dealership, ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager. Stop in, ask to speak to Mike Didio, General Manager. He will make certain that you are taken care of. And if you currently own a Porsche, the finest high-performance automobile ever manufactured, contact Porsche Delaware if you're in our area. Ask to speak to Mike Adams, Service Manager at Porsche Delaware. He will make certain that an appointment is scheduled for you, and they will pick up your vehicle for service, provide you with the loaner. They'll pick it up at your home or office, provide you with the loaner, and return your vehicle to you once service has been completed. PorscheDelaware.com. And also, this segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need: shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at their retail store. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you went out with someone who wanted to split the check on the first date. However, you say you really want to go out with him again, and you told him that, and he wants to split the check again. I'm going to say this to you. You've got to rid yourself of this. You've got to decline to go out with him. I get it. You like him, and you really want to go out with him again. You got to understand, if a man, and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you also. If a man is going to take you out on a date, he has to be a man. It's his responsibility to pick up the check. It's not his responsibility to ask you to split the check with him. Now, living in today's society, the millennial generation, you all feel like it's okay to split the check. There's no obligation. There's no expectation. But if you're going to date, you should have an expectation. And the expectation is for him to be a man. If he wants to take you out, he should pay for the date. He should pick up the check. Now, having said that, he should be willing to pick up the check for every date, unless it's his birthday and you want to treat him to dinner for his birthday. That's something different, and that's when you are in a relationship or you've already started dating. It is the man's responsibility to pick up the check if you go on a date. If a man is not willing to do that, he's actually going to become your boyfriend because he's still a boy, he's not a man. And guys, let me just keep it real with you. If you're going to take a woman out on a date, you need to make certain that you're prepared to pick up the check. You need to make certain that, listen, whatever it takes, if you've got to put some money aside because you want to take them to a nice restaurant, if you got to put some money aside this week to be able to do it next week, then do it. But whatever it takes, you should be willing to be the man. The problem is, for men, we say we want to be the head, we want to lead, but then, we start doing what society tells us is acceptable to do. We can split the check, that way there's no expectations. Well, you should have an expectation if you're going to date someone. And that expectation should be that they're going to allow you to treat them like a woman. They're going to allow you to treat them with dignity and respect, and in return, they're going to give you the same respect. And we've just got to make certain that we understand the importance of the role. The role is the man is the provider. The role is, now that doesn't, I get it. I want to clarify that because I don't want men writing me I love hearing from all of you. You can always communicate with me, newlifepastor@comcast.net, or you can, call or text me on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. Here's the issue. I realize that every man isn't going to make more money than every woman. There are some women who make more money than a man. That's not the issue. The issue is, when I say provider, you're providing what you're capable of providing, and you are providing safety and security. You're providing emotional peace. But at the same time, as men, we work. We generate income, we build wealth with the intent to be able to take care of the woman that we find. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor of the Lord. So you're searching not just for a date, but for a wife. And when you find her, you then find favor. You obtain favor of the Lord. So our goal should be, I'm going to be the man, and I'm going to, look, we'll waste money on anything else. So why wouldn't we spend money? I shouldn't say waste, but some people do, but we'll spend money on anything else. We should be willing to spend it on a woman that we believe that we found, that God has provided to enhance the quality of our lives. Because married men live longer. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Fiji Water, today's daily divine direction, as always, brought to you by Earth's finest water, Fiji Water, at FijiWater.com. A Taste of Paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. Remember, we're Facebook Live. We are YouTube Live at Daily Divine Direction. And we want you to stay connected with us through our internet radio station, WKAPFaith.com.